We'd like to welcome everyone back to the Talladega Super Speedway at the Ken Patterson Infield Media Center. 7th Annual Talladega County Coaches Association High School Football Media Day. Next up, we have the Lincoln High School Golden Bears, coached by Matt Zedeker. Representing the Golden Bears today, we have Jared McBurnett, Dalton Gowers, and Zay Ragland. The Golden Bears open the season at home against Southside of Gadsden on August the 24th.
All right, Matt, I want to ask my question first because we're getting into all kinds of other things. Do you like or not like the idea we have instant replay in high school? And did you guys buy the equipment? And if somebody can tell me that nobody in Talladega County has bought the equipment, I don't have to keep asking this question all the time.
Sure.
But just, kind of what's your take on both of those?
We have not purchased the equipment. I think it's a fantastic idea. I think our athletic association is trying to be, trailblazers in the fact that I think us and a couple other states are the first to implement it into high school football games. And so it's a tremendous opportunity for us to have that technology. The flip side of that is it costs. And so in our situation, it's around $3,000 to purchase. And my outlook on that is I could spend $3,000 for 2 challenges for 5 home games, or I could take that money and spend it on these athletes to better our program. I think it's inevitable. It'll eventually probably be part of the game, but we're just not in a financial situation where we're able to purchase it.
Do you think that if it wasn't so steep, that more people would end up doing it? Because I think I've been told like 8 out of the 300 schools in the state are doing it. So there's only 8 of them, and they're not all the big schools.
Sure. I think that would be a big factor there. And then the infrastructure of just able to implement it with the people that have to sit there and hit the button and the equipment and just, how would it work? Obviously, your larger schools have that. My concerns would be when you get down to like a 3, 2A, 1A level, in some of their stadiums, how the setup would be for that. We're fortunate enough to have a stadium that probably could, house it. But like I said, I think it's a great idea. I think it would put referees in ease a little bit, and then some may look at it as they're getting called out. But, the fact of the matter is we see it in all our pro sports and our collegiate sports, and a lot of times that helps the outcomes of games to get it right.
Hanley's in your region, right?
Yes.
They have it, but you don't go there, right?
They come to us.
The teams here that play them have them both at home, so it won't ever become a factor. Because I don't think Hanley will bring their stuff to your stadium to use it.
No. It's for your home stadium.
Now you can talk about regular football.
Good.
Coach, just talk about year 2. Last year didn't go as planned. I know the way you wanted, but just talk about what you guys want to accomplish this year.
Well, we came in last year, and I came in extremely late. Came in the end of May, had 5 days to put spring training together, and then the summer was implementing a new offense, implementing a new defense, getting to know our team, showing them a different way of the way we were going to do things, a different culture. And so obviously having an entire off season and having a full spring this year, it was tremendous, with being familiar with each other, with players and the coaching staff, knowing what the expectations are for us at Lincoln High School, makes it a more comfortable situation. Last year didn't go as well record-wise, but I thought we laid a lot of bricks in that foundation to build it to where we want to build it. Our biggest thing was, we had a lead in 4 of our losses in the fourth quarter. And 2 of those losses, we had a 14-point lead in the fourth quarter. So, we put a lot of emphasis on that in the off season as to we need to finish. We need to finish games and be able to hold leads and compete in the fourth quarter. And that's kind of been our mantra this off season and this summer is being able to complete 4 complete quarters.
So just talk about the guys you have back. You lost several good players last year.
We did. To my right here is Jared McBurnett. He's a returning outside linebacker for us and a running back, pivotal part on both sides of the defense for us, one of our team leaders. To my left, Dalton Gowers. He plays offensive guard for us and defensive end. Catalyst on both sides of the line for us. And then Zay Ragland next to him plays guard and defensive end as well. Probably 3 of our top leaders on our team. in every aspect of being a leader. The way they work, their work ethic. Not many of them are real big speakers, but they lead by their actions. And really, our team gravitates around these three right here, and they're tremendous assets to our success.
Let's talk about the changes. I think you're going back to more of a Silicaga veer type offense this year, or is it more? How are you doing it this year?
Well, I guess if we had to put a title on our offense, we call it a spread option attack. Brought in a new offense coordinator, Coach Will Hill. Tremendous coach, got 23 years experience coaching football, has been a head coach, been an OC the majority of his career. And when I interviewed him and brought him in, obviously there's some aspects I want to see offensively, and what he does and what I want to see just kind of married really well together. And we've implemented that offense, a lot of it so far this summer, and really like the way we're going to attack defenses this year. And so we're looking forward to see how that gels out.
Is the quarterback competition going on at Lincoln?
We have a young man named Javion Searles who's coming back, started a couple games for us, was our starting cornerback last year. Just a tremendous athlete. He's a two-sport athlete. He actually just flew in from Australia yesterday, been over there playing basketball for a couple of weeks. Just a pure raw talent with a tremendous amount of ability. And so he'll probably be our starter, but we've got some other wrinkles that we can work in with some other athletes there.
What's that all about?
What's that?
Searles, playing basketball in Australia.
Well, he's a fantastic basketball player as well as a football player. Had a tremendous opportunity to go to Australia. Him and his mother. It was kind of like an AAU type deal, and went over there. And obviously as a football coach, you want all your players with you throughout the whole summer. But as a coach and as an athletic director, I want these kids to experience every opportunity they can. What a fantastic opportunity for him to go down under and probably see something that he'll never see in his life, and his family was able to go with him. So, we embraced it, and I talked to him yesterday a couple of times. He had a lot of fun. He had a lot of jet lag. I think he woke up about 3 p.m. But great opportunity for him. But, he's ready to come back and get started and run this offense for us.
You hope they didn't bring any Australian rules football stuff with him?
So I wouldn't mind him bringing the toughness of the Australian rules football with him. But no, he'll be fine.
Drop kicks, none of that kind of stuff.
Coach Zediker, kind of talk about the difference between year one and year two and things that you might have learned from last year and your first year as a head coach is going to help you lead this team in the second year.
Yeah, sure. And again, kind of what I touched on earlier, just being able to be with these athletes for an entire year, them learning the culture we're trying to bring and me learning them. I thought we did a good job of playing hard last year. Obviously being in 5A, we were the 8th smallest 5A school in the state, and we finished the year with 38 players. Right now we're going to start the season with about 70. So that makes a difference. That makes a big difference, and that probably contributed to our fourth quarter. Losing the lead some because of the numbers aspect. We played a lot of kids both ways, but it's not an excuse. People talk about dropping down to 4A this year, which we're excited about. But it's a double-edged sword. We're moving into a region that, quite frankly, is probably one of the toughest regions in 4A, if not the toughest. Perennial powerhouse, state champions in Leeds and Hanley. You got a Childersburg team that Coach Beverly's doing an excellent job with. Putting them in the playoffs and building that. And then you got a Talladega team that we lost to in overtime. Coach Darby's doing an outstanding job with them. And so it's tough. And then we're kind of in the unknown with the hopeful team and an Elmore County team. An Elmore County team that just got a brand new coach. So, we're excited about the opportunity. Feel like we can match up better with our numbers now. And, it's a learning process on both sides of it. And look to take that next step this year.
And then outside the region games, you also have a rivalry game with Munford too, and that's just talk about going into that year two, wanting to playing against Coach Smith's team again and trying to come out of that with a win.
Sure. Well, I kind of got indoctrinated into that rivalry last year. Went in kind of blind about it, and now understand the intensity of that. Unfortunately, a rivalry game needs two teams that are winning every once in a while. We haven't lived up to our end of the bargain the last 4 or 5 years, but we'll be prepared for that game this year. Coach Smith does an outstanding job over there. We're basically two schools separated by a racetrack. Our kids know their kids know our kids, and so I think we'll give a lot better game this year. Very fortunate we have it at home, but that's week 5. We're not worried about Mumford right now. We better be worried about Southside. We're going to put all our eggs in the basket for that game right there, and then we'll take them one game at a time. Whatever eggs we got left, we'll put them back in the basket for Welborn and go so on and so forth, and take each game one game at a time. If you start looking at a rivalry game before you get to that game, you're going to slip up and lose some games you should.
And then just each of the players, just kind of what are your goals for the upcoming season, starting with Jared and then work our way to the right?
One of my personal goals for this year is to make playoffs and definitely beat Mumford this year. I mean, I've never been a part of a team that's beat Mumford other than middle school, which I want it to be real this time. I want our Lincoln High School to beat Mumford, and that's one of my main things for this year.
Yeah, like Jared said, playoffs is a big thing, but I want to start the season off strong too. That's something we haven't done the past couple of years, and I want to start off the south side. So,
of course, like everybody else said, making the playoffs is a big goal. But like Coach was saying, finishing games, that's another big goal. Make sure all the games that we do have a lead in that we finish and beat Mumford, of course. I think this year is the best year. Like, we have the best chance to beat them, in my opinion, of all the past years. And most of the guys on our team, they're ready for it, ready to get a good season going.
I mean, Coach, last year was the first time Lincoln missed playoffs in several years. How did that motivate your team? What did you see from your team after having a season like you had last year?
Yeah, well, when you go through a season like we did, you try to pull all the positives out from it, and then take the things that you got to change and you work on those. We did not make the playoffs, but what I hope what people saw is, even though we were mathematically eliminated from those, we still were in every game. It's an easy tendency for a 15, 18-year-old young man to know when they don't have they're not going to make the playoffs, they're going to lose the season, drop their heads, and not play very well. And to their credit, and I think to the culture that we're trying to build, we were in every game we played, all the way to game 10. Obviously, that's a tremendous motivation for our coaching staff and for these young men to get Lincoln back in the playoffs. So like I said, we're going to take one game at a time, and when those region games come about, we have to approach them as it's a playoff type atmosphere, and we'll learn from last year and build on it, and definitely we're not looking back ever again at a 1-9 season, and put that next brick in the mortar and let's go to work.
Besides finishing, what else do you want to see from the team this year?
Well, I think last year we went into the season and thought our least experienced part of our team was our lineman. We started 5 offensive linemen last year that never played a snap on a Friday night. Defensive line front, we had one returning start, and the rest of them had never played a game on Friday night. And we were tremendously talented in our skill set. We graduated a ton of that skill. 3 of those guys were fortunate enough to go on and play at the next level. And so this year we feel our strength, is our line coming back. Our entire offensive line is intact coming back. And they've worked tremendously hard in the offseason in the weight room. They're probably one of that group probably leads our team bigger than any part of it. So we're really going to lean on them a lot. And then defensively, we got 2 starting linebackers coming back with Jared and Keyshawn Townsend, and a safety in Montez Hall and Isaiah Carter at corner. So we got some key guys returning. But when you're in a season like we were last year, and you're finishing with 38 players, you got a lot of kids that are playing ball. So you could have looked out there the last 3-4 games of the season and anytime seen 2 to 4 freshmen on the field. So what we developed last year in that losing season in game time and quality playing on a Friday night under the lights, I think is going to be a strength this year because we got a lot of kids that play that are going to be able to build off that experience and won't be so new to them this year.
Just talk about your skill players a little bit. You lost, like you said, three guys going to college.
Yeah.
Just talk about what you have coming in.
Well, what we talked about Javion at quarterback. We got Shamar Hampton, who was probably our third running back last year in the rotation. He's going to be the number one man this year. Jared's a pivotal part of our offense as well, running at the D-back. We have receivers all over the field. Trey Garrett's going to be a big factor in our game planning this year. But, we got Montez Hall on the other side with him. We got Jock Howard, who's really had a tremendous summer. He's had a real good 7-on-7 camp. This year's going to play some tight end for us. And so I think we'll be more balanced talent-wise offensively, where you can't just key on one person like a lot of people keyed on Quinn or a lot of people keyed on our running backs last year. And so being more balanced will allow our offense to say, okay, you want to take away this? We're going to get this now. So we're looking forward to that. Defensively, our spring game, I thought we looked solid. We really rallied to the ball well. Our defensive front dominated. And then we've added a few pieces and some move-ins that have come in that's really going to help us this year. So, we got about 5 returners on each side, but you could really say we got a team of returners because just about all of them got playing time last year.
How does just talk about the rest of your schedule, Coach. I mean, how does coming down from 5A help you going to 4A?
Again, I think numbers. We got our numbers up. I think going from one of the smallest 5A schools, one of the largest 4A schools helps us. We got a lot more players that we can put in positions, and where last year we had our key players who didn't come off the field at all. This year we got quality backups that can come in and give us quality reps as we need to rest someone, especially we got two-way players. Numbers helps us not play as many two-way players. We can two-platoon a little bit more. Got a tremendous schedule to start off with. We're opening up with Southside, and they're coming down from 6A. They're going to two-platoon us on both sides of the ball, and that's been a real key factor to our offseason, knowing that they're going to have a team on offense and team on defense, and we're going to have a few playing both ways. So, that's a tremendous opener for us. We're ready for that challenge. And then second game we play well. Coach Smith is probably one of the best offensive minds in a wing tee system that he runs. He knows that thing like the back of our hand, and so that'll be a tremendous game. So we open up with 2 really good quality opponents, but excited. We haven't played these teams. We've added some teams that Lincoln hasn't traditionally played. Mumford's Mumford, we're going to get that. In week 10, we play Montevallo as a non-region team, and they'll be wide open spreads. So we tried to schedule our schedule where we could get non-region wise a lot of teams that we may see in our region.
Similar styles to teams that you're playing.
Right. Yep.
Is that easy to do?
It's tough. I tell you, when reclassification comes out, coaches start scrambling. Obviously, you're wanting to try to schedule teams that you think you compete with. Now, what's funny is us being a 1-9 team last year, I had everybody calling me, and you know what? I tell these kids that, hey, everybody in the state wants to play you because you're 1-9. So let's turn that into a positive and make sure they don't want to call next time. They don't want to call. They don't want to play this Lincoln team. But it's tough. But once you start scrambling, it's where you fit games in, where your off week's going to be. Are you going to play 0 week? And there's so many teams that are traditionally play each other. A lot of times it's hard to find other teams that aren't playing a rivalry game in a certain week. But everybody's in the same situation, same boat. Coaches are, and so it's about a week and a half frenzy to get the teams you want, and I like the teams we got. I think it's going to be good. I think it'll be great competition. I think our besides Montevallo, all our non-region games are relatively close. Southside's 20 minutes down the road. Wellmer's 20 minutes down the road. Mumford's Mumford. So should be great games for our community and our school, and some games that we can compete in. Hopefully, come out on the right side.
But I don't know. Maybe I mean trying to schedule the non-region teams that are similar to teams that you will play in your region. Is that hard? I mean, it would seem that you've got to do a boatload of research for a handful of games.
You do, and and everyone's guessing what the reclassification is, and and you start getting tidbits. Maybe it's this, but if you're a student of the game, if you keep up with the football teams in the state, you basically know the style they run, or the coach that's coaching them and what his philosophy is and whatnot. It's the teams that get new coaches, such as Elmore County, that we've been trying to find out a lot about, just to have an idea of what we got. And we got them late in the year. That's our senior night game. But if you're not, as a coaching staff, preparing for 10 games, throughout the off season and summer, then you're not doing a very good job, in my opinion.
Okay, that wraps things up with the Lincoln High School Golden Bears. We want to wish Coach Zedeker and the Golden Bears good luck this season. Next up, we will have the B.B. Comer Memorial High School Tigers and new head coach Adam Fawcett.